friske luft og du svåle vinde. Du vie myra med dogga strå, og du runden utar mot himlen blå. I just wanted to start with a song because this is really where I come from, and I'm always very humble when I come to conferences like this because musicologists are so clever and so intellectual, and I am just a performer. Well, this is also my starting point. I have this doubles, I have 2 feet, 1 foot in the folk music tradition. As I started out as a Norwegian folk singer, and then I trained as a classical singer. And in my projects the last years, I have been trying to unite those 2 feet. And so this is also something I'm doing in my project. So I call this presentation Singing in the Heart's Language. And the heart's language is a concept that I found in one of Edvard Grieg's letters when he described how the communication between him and the audience was when they talked about it afterwards. So he met the students who had come to his concert, and he afterwards wrote in a letter to his good friend Franz Beyer, he wrote, "I tell you, there was the heart's language on both parts." So they were all talking in the heart's language. And I think this is such a beautiful way of thinking of music, that it's speaking in the heart's language. My project at the Music Academy in Oslo is called Back Out of the Gramophone. And here you can see me looking into the gramophone and trying to find out what's in there and how I can get in there. And then at the end, how can I get out and what can I take with me out of the gramophone? So I'm listening to old recordings of classical singers recorded in Norway. And I'm also limiting this to female singers. That's because I identify as a female, and there are differences between male and female bodies. I have been singing for 25, I don't know, 30, I don't want to tell you how many years I am, but I've been singing for many years, and no one has ever told me or mentioned that men sing differently than women. But as you all saw me yesterday with the corset, I think that there are some things that definitely were and still are different for men and women in how we sing. So my idea, because I'm learning to sing like the singers in the beginning of the 20th century in Norway did, by listening only. How did I end up embarking on this journey? Well, I have had a career as a freelance singer, very, very exhausting, singing in early music. And this means historically informed performance is something that is second nature to me. We always think, how would this have sounded? And endless discussions. What instruments? Who should sing this? Is it the right pitch? 415, 392, all of these things. And we always, somehow, there was this wish, what if we could just hear them? And Norwegian early 20th century singing, the historically informed performance praxis, it hasn't been investigated. So when you want to sing Grieg, you just sing it as if it was part of the big classical repertoire. No different than you would sing, you approach it no different than you would approach any other art song or an opera aria. So there was a big demand and a huge interest. People were really excited when I said, I want to look into Grieg's songs. Oh, please tell me afterwards what you find out. How should I sing it? I don't know if I will have any answers to that, though. And the third part that led to this was actually COVID. Because I had an artist grant, a Norwegian state artist grant, and I had set out to learn 100 new folk songs. And then COVID came, and all the teachers that I had planned to go and see, or many of them were older people, I could not go and see them. And so I was left with recordings. So to learn 100 new Norwegian folk songs, I contacted the different libraries, the different archives, and I got all these sound files. This is not something new to me. I have been doing this since I started as a folk singer. So listening to old recordings is something that is very normal, and a lot of people do this as folk musicians. So I was sitting there alone with these recordings and on my number 81 or something, and I thought, I wonder if there are any old recordings of classical singers. I have never heard any. And it turns out there are. And as I promised yesterday when I reenacted Nina Grieg's song, this is the first recording that I actually found. And I'm going to let you hear it now. So this is Nina Grieg herself singing in the 1889 recording, Solveig's Sang. There is a longer version, but I did the short version now. If you want to hear the longer, you have to contact me. So this is our point of departure, and this picture is me and Eloisa at the beginning of our project, and we are looking at the score one last time before putting it away. We vowed to not use any scores. I have to say, after a while, actually, I allowed Eloisa to use scores because in some of the recordings, the piano is almost inaudible. And so it's very hard for her to hear what she's going to play. But we did do, for almost a year, we stuck to the plan and she was not allowed to use any scores. So the plan of action is listen, repeat, and maybe recreate. So what is it I should listen to? And I think many of you have talked about this today. So I had to understand the physics. This may be basic for many of you, but I did not know anything about how a gramophone recording or a wax recording was done. I will skip explaining that now, because I think you all know it by now. I had to create a discography. I had to try to research what is actually out there. And it turns out no one has ever, in Norway, no one has thought, oh, maybe we should keep one of each of these records. They are very hard to find. And they have not been seen as valuable objects by any state or archives or libraries. And I had to start collecting sound files. And I know already there is a big discussion going on, but we can save that for the questions. So here is a recording, what a recording situation in Norway could look like. And this is one of the most popular singers in the picture. I don't know if this is actually this recording, but you can hear it. And Borghild Bryn, who you just heard now, she was also one of Nina Grieg's students. So this is how I created the discography. I limited it to female Norwegian classical singers, approximately 1900 to 1920. And I could find them some at the National Library, some online resources, and private collections. And I would, when I started looking and asking these private collectors, they would say, yes, I have that one. Oh, can I hear it? No. I have never opened it. It's not meant to be played. Because they are keeping them as valuable objects in mint condition. I have been able to persuade some of them, and I have started collecting myself. But it remains a challenge. So this is the discography by now. It's an Excel sheet. So I found 334 relevant recordings. 90 of them are available as sound files. And Edvard Grieg is the most recorded composer. And as I mentioned yesterday, this was the time when Norway finally became independent after several hundred years of union with Sweden, Denmark and then Sweden. So a Norwegian composer would be very important. And Borghild Bryn, the singer that you just heard, is the most recorded singer. And these are the composers that are recorded in the material. So Edvard Grieg is the most recorded, and then Agathe Bakker Grøndal is actually a female composer, and I'm kind of proud of that. Norway got, women got the right to vote in 1913 in Norway, so it was also quite early. Then Halvdan Kierulf, but then you can see Puccini is also quite popular, and Wagner and Gounod. And then you have traditional and folk songs, they're also actually quite popular. Eivind Alnes was the pianist who was playing in the source for the other song that I recorded yesterday. So he was also a very good pianist. Other are many composers that are represented only with 1 or 2 or 3 recordings, some that I call one-hit wonders. For instance, Handel and Mozart. So, and the most recorded song is Ole Bull's The Herd Girls song, Seterjentens Søndag. I just skipped that now, but so these are the recordings, the different singers. And when I present this in Norway, I ask them, do you know any of these names? And everyone knows Kirsten Flagstad, but none of the other names are known to Norwegians today. And I'm assuming not to you either. So who is it I'm listening to? I'm collecting names. And then I realize I need to get to know them because they sound just very, very strange to me. I don't feel that they are important to me as artists. I don't feel that they speak or sing to me. I don't feel that they are relevant. And I thought there must be something I can do. So I wanted to try to create a relation to them. I started collecting photos. So here they are. And you can see, judging by this, you actually need a lot of fabric to be a singer. Which is not just a joke, actually, because they did own their own costumes. So if you sang a role, then you also were supposed to bring your costume for that role with you. We'll hear another version of Solveig's song. And so on. I'm sorry, we will have to move on. More photos. And I still felt that they were very strange. I don't know. Maybe a horse would do it. And then I found these pictures. And then I thought, oh, they're relatable. They look a bit different. Like that middle picture could be an Instagram photo, you know? They look like real people. And then I wanted to learn, to find out why they were singing like they did. And I created what my colleagues in the Music Academy call the serial killer wall. This is my serial killer wall. So I will walk over here to explain this. This row here is all the singers. And then here are their teachers and influences. So at the top left, I think there's someone that you can recognize. I was thrilled when I realized that I could put him on my serial killer wall. This is Bach himself. So actually, I started with this idea that maybe there was this very local tradition in Norway, local, very small. You know, Norway was in the outskirts of the whole world and not very important in any way. But it turns out that they all had connections to European cultural life. So here is Bach. Here's Donizetti. And here in the middle is Grieg himself. And the performers, his wife, but also Jenny Lind. You have Garcia, and of course his sisters. Oh, yeah. And we have to go on. Then, so when I listen, then I need to repeat. And I repeat again and again and again. Short sections, 5-6 seconds. Alone or together with Eloisa. And I found that the best approach was to try to treat it as a game, to just have fun, and to play copycat, really. Okay, I thought we could try it. Would you like to try? Yes. Yes? Okay, so listen now. Okay, so now you. No, we'll do listen again. Okay. Okay, once more. Okay, very good. We'll skip the third round. This is what it looks like when Eloisa and I are working. So, we're listening together, no scores. And and so on. I never realized I listen better with my mouth open. Okay. So then I want to recreate. And in order to recreate but still be myself, I needed somehow to feel kind of ownership to this music. I didn't want to just feel like a carnival and playing some singer from 100 years ago. I wanted this to be part of my own artistic practice. And again, I turned to my folk music experience. I will explain this. It might seem a little strange. This is a photo of Christiania, a map of Christiania, or Oslo, from 1901. This is also where I grew up. So these are the theaters where the singers at that time, beginning of the 20th century, were working. And the pink dots are my own personal places of reference, my birthplace, my schools, the places I've lived. And I'm hoping now that you get a third. No, there's missing. Okay, so I'll go back. So the blue dots are places where the singers lived. These are data from the censuses from Norway. And I realized that if this were a folk music tradition, and I grew up in this area, and all these recordings were made of singers living in this area, this would be my tradition. And it would actually be my duty to bring this tradition on and to learn to sing like they do in order to keep this tradition alive. So this worked quite well. I think now that I have this sort of reason to sing like this. So the path ahead. What is classical singing without scores? Can we do that actually? Are we allowed? What about the composer's intentions? I had this situation with a folk song that I didn't remember who had taught me. And then, for some reason, I could not use it anywhere in the folk music environment, because then it's really important that you always mention who you learned this from. And I thought, well, the song is so beautiful, but it's like it doesn't exist. So, is it the same with the composer? And what are the timbral possibilities for a classical singer? So, just a final photo. What can I take with me back out to the gramophone? And I have still, this is work in progress, I have so many questions. As a final sound file, I will present to you the original recording of the other song that I recorded yesterday. So this is with Kalle Monrad. So that's it.